What's up guys, welcome to PHENOMSOUND. In this tutorial we are going to look into a very interesting topic, which is EDM drum samples. This tutorial will consist of two separate videos. In the first one we are going to look into a simple technique of drums layering, and in the second one we are going to synthesize our own kick and snare sample from scratch. Okay, for now let's take a look at this snare sample. There are three significant parts of each snare and probably each kick sample. It's this little part called a transient or click. It's very short, up to 5 milliseconds or so. The second part is called a body, which also is known as the decay. And the final one is the tail or the release, which is in most cases the longest part of the sample. So you mostly memorize this part of the snare. Okay, we are going to split this snare into these three parts. And if we glue them all back together, we will get a perfectly glued together, nice and smooth drum sample. So here I have a couple of more snares. And as you can see by their waveform, those parts like transient, body and tails look quite the same. So the idea of this type of layering is to separate all these different parts of the drum and glue them all together, combining different parts of it. Actually, I've came up with a quite suitable name for this type of layering. I've called it the Frankenstein layering, because you take the body from this snare, you take the tail from another one, and you get a little splice into one nice drum sample. The very important thing is to set the fading of each part to quite smooth one, but not too smooth, to preserve the transient and decays. And this will help us to create a nice smooth mixture. Like this. This tail is quite big. Okay, let's probably take the transient from the first sample, the body from the second one, and the tail on the third one. Let's probably change the colors so we could clearly see which sample we are currently using. And the green one. Okay, let's bring it all together and check what we will get. We have a perfect snare, which sounds quite different from all those original samples, but we can go even further and manipulate each separate part of this sample individually. For example, we could shorten the tail. Sounds nice. Or try fitting another tail. This one is quite short but noisy. Let's try this transient. Nice. We can change the pitch of each separate element. I like this pogo effect in the FL Studio very much. I highly recommend you to use this feature with working with drum samples. Let's try some different combination. Like this one, this decay, this click. and a short tail called Small Boy by Virtual Riot. You could make it a bit louder. The nice thing is that you can manipulate the tail, which will affect the sound really significantly, but it will keep your transient and decay perfectly shaped without distorting it or ruining the click, the punchiness of the sound. Okay, let's say we want some really long snare with a big noisy tail. I have some really old collection of drum samples, and this one is the biggest that I have. Quite old schoolish. We could replicate the same result by simply opening up the serum and using the automation on the noise oscillator. But don't forget to turn off the oscillator. Like this. And in my case, bright noise works just fine. We could use some EQing on it. And try fitting it over here. This one could be louder. And it's always better to resample everything, working with drums particularly. We can record it in Edison, drag it over here and make some nice manipulations with pogo and pitch and all the other stuff. You could make it a bit wider using the isotope ozone 5. Nice. Let's make it brighter and try using some pogo. Awesome. Let's try some different combination. It all works just fine. Also, another nice idea working with layering is to add a tiny acoustic flavor. Make some punchy snare sample and try blending it with the original synthesized drums. And together with the noise, it blends just fine. Let's go ahead and add some loose clap sample at the beginning of the snare. In this case, probably the acoustic snare is not the best idea and the decay could be better. Something like this. Perfect. This snare is just perfect for future bass, for color bass, even for trap music. So for different styles, different genres, you could use different techniques. So this is how you use this Frankenstein layering mode, because in most cases we are all used to vertical layering. It's when you take one sample, layer it on top of it, and maybe layer some different sample on top of it, and they all have their own transient bodies and tails, and they all mixing together in real time, which sometimes makes a little mess. So instead of doing this type of layering, I recommend you to layer them horizontally. Like take one transient that you like the most from your favorite snare or kick, take your favorite body and some nice little tail, merge them all together in a horizontal positioning, and you have a perfect drum sample of your dreams. Your imagination is the only limit to what you can do with these different techniques. So stay tuned to our next video. We are going to synthesize our own drum samples, and here's the result so you could know what to expect. A project of this demo that you can hear right now is available to my patrons, as well as a drum sample pack and serum presets. So go ahead and visit my Patreon page, there are a lot of interesting stuff available to my patrons. Also, this is a huge support for me and my channel to keep going and to make interesting videos for you guys. So stay tuned, hope you enjoyed this tutorial, hit like, leave your comments and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching this video, have a good day and see you in my next one. Bye!